There were all kinds of things you could do to slow down the aging process. But Ma, I said, you know that there's no evidence that that stuff does any more or less for you than taking prescription hormones. Ah, but there is. The difference is the cream is tailor-made for me. I get a blood test every month to make sure. And Gregory, I know you wrote a book about all this, but I am telling you it works. My skin hasn't been like this for 20 years. And my energy level too. And I'm not even doing my yoga as much, so I know it's the cream. It's definitely making me feel younger. And frankly, Gregory, I don't even think of aging the same way anymore. Aging, like that I mean, when you really think about it, it's so unnatural. Driving home that day, I thought a lot about that last statement. The notion that aging was somehow unnatural. It was the kind of dimensional shift in perception that leads you to think that, once again, just like that crazy internet thing, modern life has passed you by. Either that, or that everyone around you has gone totally off the grid. After all, everyone knows that anti-aging medicine is bogus, right? Certainly all the right-thinking folk think so. Even the somnolent FDA recently raided a bunch of pharmacies for selling anti-aging compounds. The Gerontological Society of America, let's call it Big G, sponsors seminars on anti-aging quackery. A group of Big G researchers has even taken to issuing consensus edicts against anti-aging medicine, often noting its more obvious frauds, while impaling the whole notion as quackery. Some of these attacks are strangely personal, singling out bona fide researchers who differed from the establishment line as rogues, and impaling others for being celebrities. But something has bothered others in the fields of aging and medicine about this consensus. When you looked a little harder, you saw that some of the bigger names had refused to sign on. It was too soon to take such a censoring position, they said. Younger scientists viewed it as a generational affront. As a graduate student named Adam Spong, a cell biology researcher at Southern Illinois University Medical School, told me, their whole thing is just so postmodern in that 1970s way. I mean, you cannot talk about aging as a disease, because that would be ageist. You cannot talk about something objectively factual, that it is better physiologically to be young than be old, without supposedly causing stigma or victimizing the elderly. To me, it all stinks of some weird, self-defeating orthodoxy. Call it political correctness if you want. In fact, the more one looks at anti-aging, or longevity, science, and medicine, the more one sees that there is no real consensus about it at all, and that a myriad of enterprises, both public and private, are forging onward into a brave new pro-longevist world. Consider, for example, that Stanford University professor Shripad Tuljapurkar, an expert in population mathematics, projects that anti-aging advances in developed countries could increase life expectancy by a year for each year of the decades 2010 to 2030. The National Institute of Aging, the country's federally funded arbiter of gerontology, is now underwriting a long-term, wide-ranging program to test lifespan-extending compounds on mice at 3 leading research institutions. Although designed to debunk commercial claims, the early results have already identified 3 compounds that extend maximum lifespan in mice, a huge surprise to the dedicated skeptics running the trials. Another NIA study, the first on humans, showed that thickening of the carotid artery, a key sign of aging and a risk factor for stroke, was dramatically reduced in practitioners of caloric restriction. When the noted Rand Corporation asked the nation's leading gerontologists, cardiologists, and geriatricians about the possibility of a major lifespan-extending compound, many were surprisingly bullish, with a number predicting a 50% chance of such a compound in the next 10 years. The co-founder of PayPal, Peter Thiel, one of the financial world's shrewdest investors, has put $3.5 million into a project to do nothing less than end aging. The pharmaceuticals giant Glaxo recently paid $750 million for the development rights to resveratrol, a compound that seems, among other things,